Wealthy Wednesday. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first episode where we're going to talk a little bit more about the trucking business and about the financials of it, and hopefully many other things in the future. But we are a trucking company, and that's kind of what I know, and so that's where we're going to start off. And today we're going to kind of explain what I expect to go over in these videos, at least for the next few months. All right, so you'll hear a lot of people say that money is the root of all evil, but in my opinion, and what I believe it says in the Bible, is the love of money is the root of all evil. And the devil plays off of that really hard because he wants you broke. He wants all the Christians to be broke. And the reason why is if you're broke, you're not going to be able to help anybody else. You can't go out there and witness by giving people water when there's been a hurricane or power outages because you're broke. You're not going to be able to go help people because you're not going to be able to afford a hotel room. You're not going to be able to afford a chainsaw to go cut trees out of people's yards when there's been a tornado. He wants you so broke that you huddle up in your house and eat beanie weenies the rest of your life. He don't want you outside. He don't want your light shining to the world. He don't want that level of Christianity out there in the world. He don't want our Great Commission being fulfilled. He don't want us out there in the deserts and the jungles of the world spreading the word. He wants us locked down, scared to buy a loaf of bread with our last penny. And that's my opinion. Like I said, all these videos are my opinion and are for entertainment only. So, in order to fight the devil, sometimes it takes a little money. It takes a little bit of planning. You are at a war. The devil is roaming this world as a roaring lion, looking for who he can devour in any way possible. And if you let him, he will come right in your gates and destroy your whole family. So you need to be vigilant. You need to know your enemy and find new and creative ways to fight him. Because I promise you, he's finding new and creative ways to fight you. But your most powerful weapon is that Holy Bible and the Holy Trinity. You need to be praying. You need to be on point, calling on the name of the Lord, saying, Lord Jesus, please help me. Please help me all day, every day, because I need you. And that's where a lot of people mess up. It's hard to pray sometimes. I don't understand why, but sometimes it gets hard to pray, and prayer is one of your most powerful weapons against the devil, because I believe him and his minions go away screaming when they hear you praying to the Lord God Almighty. I don't think that they can stay in your presence whenever you are calling upon the name of the Lord. So when you're feeling down and when things are against you, how about just trying to get down and make yourself pray? Open that Bible. Just open it up anywhere, because there ain't nothing in that book that's going to harm you. Just like I do a lot of times. Sometimes I'll just close my eyes, flip it open, and I'll just start reading. Some people are different. Some people try to read it from front to back in order. That's not me. I kind of like to let the Lord lead on my mission for the day or for the week, and leave him that opening. All right, so let's go on and get into the crust of the video. Now, as you'll see, I've got some little pictures made up, and it talks about know your numbers. Know your cost per mile. Know your cost per day. Know your variable cost. Know your fixed cost. Be ready for those variable costs to change, because that is the nature of business. It is always changing, especially in trucking, because you're in a machine that pennies per mile can make you prosperous or breaking even, or it can make you fail. Many people have come into this industry and have failed, and they're good people and they're smart people, and they didn't deserve to fail. They just made the wrong decisions because they had the wrong information. You need to have the information. You need to do your study. You need to be aware of what all is happening each week in this industry, because it does change each week. And I've noticed a lot from watching the load boards about how quickly it can change. And it really is, it's scary sometimes. But the devil wants you poor so that you can't help other people. So it's my mission, dear fellow Christians and those who are soon to be Christians. I want to help y'all become more wealthy in all areas of life, because the definition of wealth is to have abundance in possessions and money, and I believe also in love. So you need to be focused on trying to find ways in each of those areas to have a love for man and love for God, to have enough money to help others, to have possessions that you may want to share with others, because sharing is caring, brothers and sisters. All right, but your cost per mile, you got to know that number, and we'll break those down a little more in some future videos. But today is just a generality to kind of tell y'all the things that you can expect. You're going to expect cost per mile, your miles per gallon and cost per gallon videos. You can expect cost per day, week, and month. You need to know those things, because you need to know that if you don't move that truck a day, you don't get to go back and redo it. That day you just got a big old fat goose egg, of a big old fat zero for that day. And zeros don't pay the bill, ladies and gentlemen. You got to try to get as much as you can out of each and every day that week, so that you're going to make that week's payment and you're going to make that week's profit. Know your fixed cost, because those fixed costs are the makers and breakers too, but they're something that you can manage. There are ways that you can lower those fixed costs. You can keep on top of the value of your truck, and you can change that insurance every 3-6 months and bring it down a little bit, because every little bit counts. Your payments on your trucks. If you're doing a lease payment, be aware that, there's a point where you can go to a bank and finance that truck and spread it out a little longer, so that way your payment goes way down when you get a bonus per month. In my opinion, buying a truck is a good credit, because that credit will make you money. We'll talk more about that in some future videos. All right, so pay yourself a salary. If you pay yourself a salary just like you were working for somebody else, it will allow you to get a more steady number on your fixed costs, because you're going to pay yourself a certain amount each week. Look, it don't matter if you make $2,000 gross or $10,000 gross. You need to pay yourself the same thing each and every week, so it will help you keep better track of them numbers. It's just, in my opinion, I have noticed it is a good business practice, and it helps a lot when you're doing your figuring on your profits for the week. Some weeks, I would like to pay myself a little bit more, and some weeks I'm like, man, I shouldn't pay myself so much. So it balances out. It really does. Now, when you're dealing in business, there's some things that you need to have, and the first one is integrity. When you tell somebody you're going to do something, you need to do everything in your power to make it happen. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes you will fail. Sometimes you will not be able to meet that mark. But you need to make those moments as few as possible, because your integrity and your reputation in business mean a lot in order for you to get future business. I can't stress it enough. Go the extra mile for people, and they will tell others that you went the extra mile and that you did the right thing when nobody was looking. And that's the kind of reputation you need to have going in front of you, because you set up a meeting with a guy in 2 weeks. You know what that guy's going to do? He's going to go on social media. He's going to go and talk to the people that have done business with you in the past, and he's going to find out if you have integrity, if you are honest. He's going to know your reputation, and that's going to be the first thing in the door in the meeting before you ever even get to the building. How is he going to receive you when he's been told that he's got to meet you, and he's found out that, man, this guy misses half of his appointments? Is he even going to be here? And when he does get here, what's he going to be like? I mean, if he's that lax on missing appointments, how is he going to be dealing with me and my business? Because when you're messing with people's business and their time, you're in a danger zone, because their time is very valuable. Their businesses are their children. They have built them things up from the bottom and made something of them. So when you're taking advantage of them and their time and their businesses, they're going to start looking at you a little harsher. So you need to make sure you do the best that you can. Now, as far as revenue, ladies and gentlemen, revenue is extremely important. You want to make as much revenue as you can each and every week. We all know that, right? But also, while you're making that revenue, you need to be studying about lowering your expenses, because actually it's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep at the end of the week, month, and year, because you got IRS, you got a bunch of other people that are going to be wanting that money. I mean, there's so many hidden expenses, especially when you hire employees. Oh, yeah. But yeah, we'll talk more about hiring employees. We're going to talk about taxes, which it is tax season, and I recommend everybody do that end of year planning. It's December, taxes end of the year is here. I mean, you need to do that planning now. Fix them trucks now before the end of the year so you can write that off and have a lower tax burden. That's just my suggestion for that. It's a quick little nugget. You know, we just put $3,000 in the Champ. I got to put a steer tire on my truck. Probably going to do that like the week before January 1st. But yeah, we're going to talk about how to separate your personal finances from your business finances. And if you study anything about LLCs and protections and things like that, you'll be learning about how you're supposed to separate. And it's not as easy as they make it sound. But when you're dealing with a lot of transactions and you end up with 2, 3, 4 different accounts to keep up with, it's very important that you balance those accounts weekly and you have a fresh P&L so that you know exactly how healthy your company is. Profit and loss statements. You can get those using Trucking Office, which is my back office that I use for our business. It really is helpful doing the IFTA, and there's so much that we can talk about in this series, from compliance to taxes to accounting. Hire a good accountant. Not just a good accountant. You want an accountant that can verbalize to you and communicate with you, because you can have one that is the smartest accountant in the world, but if they can't communicate to you what you need to do during the year, you're going to be missing some of those key purchases or doing things that you shouldn't have done, making purchases and spending money that you shouldn't have spent, thinking that you could do one thing and then finding out something different. Even buying these properties that I just purchased has been a learning experience, and there's some nuggets that are involved in that, and I'm going to share some of that with y'all as we go down the road. I've got to there's a couple of things that I have to get done for legal protections that I didn't realize I needed to do. And I don't want to give up too much because this video is about over. I want y'all to look forward to these things as much as I do, because this is the things that I enjoy. The numbers, I especially love it when the numbers tell a story. You know, when you're one week you're battling to make the profit, and the next week the profit just comes so freely. And it's kind of like every week you start off, you're going on an adventure. Where is that week going to take you? What conquest are you going to have during that week? Or what defeat are you going to face? Each week is a new adventure. And I don't want y'all looking at your truck and your job as a prison. It can be a great adventure. And if you approach it like that, your attitude will change and you will be looking forward to making that happen each week. Anyway, that's the end of the video for today. God bless, and I will catch y'all on the next ride.